Welcome back EFD squad. Today, in honour of the Easter weekend, we've got a special for you, a second batch of players who came back from oblivion to rule the footballing world. 10. Ciro Immobile. When Ciro Immobile was sent out on loan by Juventus to Pescara in 2011, the striker couldn't believe his luck. He linked up with Marco Verratti and Lorenzo Insigne, who were both barely in their 20s, and the trio tore Serie B in half. Pescara got promoted as champions and frontman Immobile bagged 28 goals, helped considerably by Verratti and Insigne's combined tally of 23 assists. 2 seasons later, at the age of 24, Immobile finally confirmed he could cut it at the top level. Now at Torino, he beat Higuain, Tevez and Luca Toni to be crowned Serie A's top scorer, prompting Borussia Dortmund to splash 18 million euros on the Italian as Lewandowski headed for Bayern. But Immobile crumbled under Klopp, struggling to get into a side which won just 4 out of its first 19 league games and was loaned to Sevilla at the end of the campaign. Having scored 22 league goals in his blockbuster season with Torino, he mustered just 10 over the following 2 seasons before Simone Zaza handed him a lifeline at Lazio. Since moving to Rome, Immobile has become a gladiator. In his first season, he chalked up the best goal tally of any Lazio player since Hernan Crespo in 2001, and at the time of recording is on course to pick up his second capocannoniere. Not only that, but at the age of 28, Immobile has finally found a club and stayed there for more than 1 season, settling down at last. 9. Victor Moses. Next, we have a man who for many years looked like he would never truly fit in a team. After coming to prominence at Wigan, a young Victor Moses earned himself a move to Chelsea in 2012, where he made a promising start as a wide forward. But despite scoring vital goals in the club's run to Europa League glory, he was sent out on loan to Brendan Rodgers' Liverpool, warming the bench for much of the Reds' famous 13-14 campaign. Further spells followed at Stoke and West Ham, with the Nigerian failing to establish himself at either club and coming away with just 4 league goals in 2 seasons. In fact, between September 2015 and May 2016, the Hammers lost 8 games in which Moses featured and were unbeaten whenever he didn't play. The man was seemingly cursed. But the arrival of Antonio Conte at Stamford Bridge that summer saw his fortunes change dramatically. The Italian coach's ability to squeeze the best out of his squad saw Moses moved into a wing-back role where his strength and pace could be used most effectively. It could not have been more perfectly timed. The wide man was approaching 26 and in danger of becoming a top-level flop. Instead, he appeared in all but 4 of the Blues' Premier League fixtures as they broke the record for most league wins in a season, contributing to 6 goals along the way. 8. Rubén Castro. Spanish forward Rubén Castro left it even later before pulling himself out of the claws of footballing obscurity, not making his mark in La Liga until he was 30 years old. Castro first came to prominence at boyhood club Las Palmas in 2004, when he scored nearly half of the team's entire league output, finishing as the Segunda Division's top scorer despite the club getting relegated. Deportivo La Coruña liked what they saw and snapped him up, but Castro accumulated less than 10 goals for the club and was farmed out on loan 5 times during his 6-year stay in Galicia. However, a move to Real Betis in 2010 proved a masterstroke. He fired the team to promotion in his first season and was a constant for Los Verdiblancos for the next 8 seasons, a period during which the club made 11 separate managerial appointments. He scored a total of 148 goals for Betis, destroying Alfonso's comparably minuscule record of 66. At the time of recording, he is back in Seville after a short spell in China and is still leading the line, aged 36. Eat your heart out, Zlatan. 7. Iago Aspas. When Iago Aspas left Celta Vigo for Liverpool in 2013, it was not a decision he took lightly. At 25 years old, the Spaniard had never played for another club and was so loved at Celta that the supporters club was named after him. As a youngster, he marked his debut for the side in spectacular fashion, coming off the bench to score a last-minute winner against Alaves and saving the club from relegation to the 3rd tier and instantly secured legend status. But his spell on Merseyside was anything but magical. He made just 5 league starts for the Reds and registered 0 goals, his most memorable moment being a misplaced corner in the dying moments against Chelsea as a post-slip Gerrard and co chased the game in vain. A distinctly average spell at Sevilla followed before the lad came to his senses and moved back to Celta. Since returning to Galicia, Aspas has picked up where he left off. In 2016-17, only Messi, Suarez and Ronaldo scored more than him in La Liga, and he also took his beloved club within inches of a historic Europa League final. For Aspas, there really is no place like home. 6. Bradley Wright-Phillips. After coming through the ranks at Man City, Bradley Wright-Phillips lived in the shadow of his more successful brother. While Sean secured a big move to Jose Mourinho's Chelsea, his younger sibling struggled to make a mark on Eastlands, scoring just twice in 40 appearances, an embarrassing stat for a centre-forward, especially considering the fact Richard Dunn scored 4 times during the same period. Clearly not cut out for the Prem, Bradley spent the next few years as a Football League journeyman, plying his trade for the likes of Southampton, Plymouth and Charlton in the Championship and League One. Then, in 2013, New York Red Bulls came calling. In an instant, he went from playing teams like Hartlepool and Shrewsbury to partnering Thierry Henry in the Big Apple. And Wright-Phillips actually ended up becoming a more important figure for the Metros than the Frenchman. He is now the club's all-time top scorer, and in 2014 equalled an MLS record for most goals in a single season. In short, he became a genuine legend in America, something Sean could only dream of. 5. Salomon Kalou. The footballing career of Salomon Kalou has never exactly been down in the dumps, but he was certainly underappreciated during Chelsea's golden era of the late 2000s. After moving to Stamford Bridge in 2006, he was a consistent provider of goals and assists, but was often overlooked as more glamorous teammates such as Drogba, Malouda, Anelka and Mata stole the big praise. Kalou even started the Blues' triumphant Champions League final of 2012, but it came at the end of his poorest season for the club, and he was subsequently released that summer, heading across the channel to Lille. He was moved into the centre-forward role by manager Rudy Garcia and thrived as the main man, netting 16 goals in his first season in France, the most he had managed in a single campaign since his days at Feyenoord. The next year, he contributed to a total of 23 and helped the club to 3rd in Ligue 1. And his newfound role at club level coincided with a change of fortunes on the international stage. In 2015, the Ivory Coast's all-star team finally lifted the African Cup of Nations, and Kalou retired from the national side in glory. 4. Memphis Depay. Much like Salomon Kalou, Memphis Depay built up his image as a footballing star in the French and Dutch leagues, but unlike the Ivorian, he was also a genuine flop in England. At just 20 years old, Memphis became PSV's talisman and was a surprise hit at the 2014 World Cup, scoring twice for Louis van Gaal's Oranje side as they reached the semi-finals. The next season, he fired his club to Eredivisie glory, won the Young Player of the Year award previously given to the likes of Robben and Van Persie, and was awarded with a move to Man United, where he linked back up with Van Gaal. But we all know what happened next, as Memphis in Manchester was an absolute disaster. The Dutchman netted just twice in 29 league appearances, and the £30 million man was binned off just 6 months after Mourinho took the helm. Thankfully, and somewhat unsurprisingly, the Dutchman found a better home in Ligue 1, where he could run at less accomplished defences at will. He has repaired his reputation in Lyon emphatically, with a stunning winning strike against PSG, the highlight thus far. 3. Simone Zaza. Marcelino's Valencia is a team made up of players who either flopped or were underappreciated at other clubs. Francis Coquelin, Gonzalo Guedes, Jeffrey Kondogbia, the list goes on. But Simone Zaza has undoubtedly experienced the biggest swing in fortunes at the Mestalla. The Italian striker made his Serie A debut for Atalanta back in 2009, aged just 17, and by his early 20s was turning out for an up-and-coming Sassuolo side. His performances there landed Zaza a move no one saw coming, as Juventus swooped in, splashing €18 million on him in 2015. But unsurprisingly, he struggled for game time in a team containing Dybala, Mandzukic and Morata, and things only got more demoralising at the following summer's Euros. Brought on by Conte in the Azzurri's quarter-final against Germany on 120 minutes, Zaza set the tone for one of the worst penalty shootouts in history, sending his spot kick over the bar after a bizarre Fred Flintstone run-up and becoming that summer's biggest footballing meme in the process. A dreadful loan spell at West Ham followed before Valencia came to the rescue in January 2017. Within a month, he'd scored in a famous victory over Real Madrid, and by March 2018 had recorded his best goal tally in a league campaign since 2013, when he was still playing in Serie B. However, he still hasn't earned another cap for Italy. 2. Gervinho. In at number 2, we have a man who has performed not just one, but 2 resurrections during his career. Starting life at Belgian outfit Beveren, just like his countryman Yaya Touré, Gervinho was initially a flop when he moved to France to play for Le Mans. There he averaged just 0.2 goals a game before transferring to Lille, where he was a revelation. The second Ivorian on this list to be transformed by the management of Rudi Garcia, Gervinho was unstoppable at the Stade Pierre-Mauroy, and in his second season, scored 15 and assisted another 11, helping teammate Moussa Sow take the Golden Boot and the club win a first league title since the 1950s. His success in northern France led to a call from Arsene Wenger, and despite a promising start at the Emirates, he ultimately proved to be an ineffective goal threat in England. He did manage to slap Joey Barton during his stay though, so it wasn't all bad. It was Garcia who saved Gervinho once again, bringing the forward to Roma in 2013, where he gelled instantly. In a team containing Totti, Strootman and Pjanic, the Ivorian was the star man, contributing to 21 goals as the club recorded their best ever Serie A points tally at the time. Unfortunately, he never reached the level of performance he achieved that season, and after Garcia left the Stadio Olimpico in 2016, he departed for China. At least his hard work has paid off with a massive paycheck. 1. Paulinho. It's funny how a footballer's reputation can be completely torn apart based on one bad spell in the Premier League, and Paulinho is the perfect example of this phenomenon. After beginning his senior career in Lithuania and Poland, the Brazilian box-to-box man eventually caught the world's attention at Corinthians. His tenacious performances in the middle of the park helped the Sao Paulo club win league titles, the Copa Libertadores, and record a famous victory over Chelsea in the Club World Cup. Pundits began to draw comparisons between him and the Blues' Frank Lampard, and he moved to Spurs soon after. He joined the North London club at the same time as Eriksen, Soldado and Lamela, and suffered in a side struggling to gel after the loss of Gareth Bale. And despite scoring 6 in the league in his first season, Paulinho was shunned by Mauricio Pochettino and was eventually offloaded to Guangzhou Evergrande in China. Fast forward to 2017 and Paulinho was on the move again, but this time to Barcelona, who decided to spend €40 million on the midfielder, double what Spurs had paid for him 4 years earlier. The signing seemingly made no sense whatsoever, even to the experts at TFD, but the Brazilian proved everyone wrong. He added some much-needed muscle to a weak Barca midfield, and at the time of recording, only Messi and Suarez have scored more than him at the Camp Nou in 2017-18. So that was our part 2 of 10 players who resurrected their careers. What did you make of it? Was there anyone we missed out? Let us know down below, and obviously check out part 1. Because, there are a few people in there as well. While you're at it though, go and check out Stat Wars, the champions from the weekend. Another tasty battle in the spaceship. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe.